YouTuber Gaming Channel welcomes you to a following special presentation of MLB The Show announcement content. And now here he is, the YouTuber. Thank you and welcome into this special content. Sorry about that, I dropped my controller. Whoops. Do apologize for that. I dropped my controller. As I was saying, I was gonna do NCAA Football 14 content for you. I was gonna do a live stream on there. Let me get it up here. It was going to be the James Madison Dynasty series. That has been moved to not tomorrow, to Wednesday, and tomorrow will be Wheel of Fortune on the channel. But yeah, so we were going to do that. That was originally scheduled. It was scheduled for, and then I moved back to 2:30, and now it's moved to Wednesday the 2nd of February, and that's the second game. I know the first game has been done a while back for the James Madison Dynasty series, but we will get to that. But we have some big news regarding MLB The Show 22 to get to, so this is going to be all about MLB The Show 22. This is using MLB The Show 16, I think. This is the themes from MLB The Show 16, so that's why I put that on the screen. I just wanted something on the screen so we can talk about MLB The Show 22 content for you, so I had to put something baseball related on there. So, without further ado, let's get into it and talk about MLB The Show. What is there to talk about? There's a lot to talk about since the last time I talked about MLB The Show content on this channel, whether it was 22 or I can't remember if I have talked about MLB The Show 22 content, or was the last thing I talked about was MLB The Show 21. Alright, so February begins the talk. January, February, and March, we talk about MLB The Show. We will do more MLB The Show 21 before the release, simply because the release isn't until later on. After March is in April. We'll get to that in a minute. It's going to be in April again this year, as it was the same as last year. Why April? Well, that's just what Sony Studios and San Diego Studios are doing. So here's the thing. In real life MLB, the schedule is based off of the real life MLB schedule. What happens when you get into a lockout? Do you get a fake schedule? Do you still get a real life schedule? What type of scheduling in franchise mode would you get from a team or in Major League, Minor League Baseball when they're still in a lockout? As of now, they're still in a lockout. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see when this game comes out what type of schedule we will have, though. Franchise baseball, once we get the game, I will be doing an entire season for the Oklahoma City Dodgers, Drillers, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Basically, the entire Dodgers organization, which is the Major League, Los Angeles Dodgers, the Minor League, Oklahoma City Dodgers, the AA, other Minor League, the Tulsa Drillers, and then you'll have all the St. Louis games as well as Kansas City games in their minor league teams as well, which is Springfield and Memphis for St. Louis organization. Kansas City, I think, is Omaha, and I'm not sure the AA affiliate. Whoever that is, we'll do all that, and then we'll have a MLB Game of the Week returning. Plus we will have a new MILB Minor League Baseball Game of the Week. So the MLB Game of the Week will return, and as well as getting the Minor League AAA Game of the Week and the AA Game of the Week out in the way, out there too. Plus we'll do the Home Run Derby. We'll do the we're gonna talk about the possibly another Field of Dreams game. And all that. Alright, so now to the big content. We're building up on hype here, trying to build the hype on it and the announcement, just so that I got all the introduction out of the way. I got some other stuff that had to be talked about on the video, on the live stream, talked about. Alright, so the first thing is I think the last time I talked about MLB The Show content, we didn't have a definite date of release for the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and the Nintendo Switch, since now it's not only exclusively on PlayStation anymore, it's on the Xbox and the Nintendo Switch. So it's going to be released April 5th. People are asking, what date of the calendar date is April 5th? Is it a Friday, Monday, Tuesday? What date is April 5th? April 5th is a Tuesday. So Tuesday, April 5th. Tuesday, April 5th will be when MLB The Show 22 releases on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch. So you're able to pre-order now at the PlayStation Store or at your local gaming store in your area, or pick it up on that day of the release, which is April 5th. So that is that. And now, the other thing that we are releasing, this has been all in one day. We get the release date, we get the cover art player, all in one day. So probably next thing we'll probably talk about is what modes are on there. So I don't know if that's going to be how time frame works on it, if we're going to get that tomorrow, February, whatever. I don't know if we're going to get that today or tomorrow or sometime in February, but we will be doing a live stream every so often once we get more information on stuff like we are today with the release date and the cover player, as well as also talking about what we think is going and what we know for a fact should be, not a definite, but it should be in the game's modes and stuff. we'll talk about that in a minute. But we are people may already know who was on the cover of it, but I'm just going to announce it on my channel anyway, so just so that I can do it on my channel. I like doing it on my channel, that way people know the scoop and know what's the latest on MLB The Show 22. So the cover player, without further ado, is Shohei Ohtani from the Los Angeles of Anaheim Angels. So he is a two-way player. He was in the Home Run Derby last year, so he was the first two-way player to be on the cover of the show, plus the first two-way player to be in the Home Run Derby. First Asian player to be on the cover as well. He's the legitimate right choice for this year's cover for MLB The Show. I feel like of all the MLB The Show covers since the series began, this is the most legit choice there is. Last year it was, who was it last year? It was Fernando Tatis from San Diego Padres. So you go from you have two California guys in a row, two players from a California team in a row, San Diego and Los Angeles. You go from NL to AL. The year before that, I think it was the Cubs player, I think. Let me go in and look. So the first one was MLB The Show 06, or MLB 06, and then that was 2006. The first one was 2006. So the MLB The Show 06 was the first one, and now, of course, with the latest one last year, and now going to be this one this year. But this is only the second one on the Xbox in the Xbox Series, Xbox One, Xbox Series One. I said it's the second one on the Xbox systems, being current gen and next gen systems, plus on the Nintendo Switch. I don't know if it was. I don't know. I can't. I don't remember if last year's was on the Switch or not. No, so this is the first year of it being on the Nintendo Switch. So last year was just Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Series S, and PS4 and PS5. With Xbox One and PS4 not having the same creator, and only Xbox Series X and S and PS5 having the same creator. Don't know if that's going to be the case this year or not. Don't know what modes they're going to which version of the game. I will talk about that once I find out more about it. And I'll just do a live stream that day that it comes out, just so that's all fresh in people's mind, and people are like, let's have the day to do what we're talking about, type of thing. We're doing it as of it. Last last year it released on April 16th. This time it's April 5th. So it had been all in March prior to last year. But last year was on April 16th. This time it's April 5th. So maybe over time we'll get pushed back to March. But for now we're in April, having their April release date. Of last year's one being April 16th, this one being April 5th. So again, Shohei Ohtani, the cover art player for this one this year for MLB The Show 22, which released on April 5th, which is a Tuesday. But it is available for pre-order now. And again, this video is not sponsored by anybody. I'm just giving you the facts just to get the facts out of what has been made available to the public. So I'm looking forward to it. I think I like their choice of cover player for this year with Ohtani. I think it's going to be a good game. I think you're going to get good graphics with it no matter what version you get, whether you get the Xbox One or the PS4 or the PS5 or the Xbox Series X or the Nintendo Switch. I think you're going to get good graphics no matter which one you get. And no matter if you get the regular version or some of these other versions that they release, like the, I don't know, well, there's like the Legendary or the Jackie Robinson edition or whatever that they release, these different so it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be on the Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS4 and PS5, and the Nintendo Switch. So not going to be on the PC. So unless you're able to play it on the Xbox One or Xbox Series X version on the PC, since Xbox is Microsoft. You can do that, or if you had the PlayStation remote play or whatever it's called, where you have your PlayStation on and you're playing from your computer. But that's if you want to do it in a different way than strictly on your PlayStation. I'll have complete content of it, talking about my first game, to my first thoughts on it, to what modes are going to be in the game once we get that information out there. Now that we will get all those, I will do a live stream for that. I may just out the same thing, but just say part 1 for part 2. We'll do it like that, where we're going to say MLB The Show 22 announcement part 1, part 2, and we're going to do it up until the time it releases. So from now until the time it releases, we're going to be doing multiple parts. Part 1, like I said today, is just talking about the release, the cover art, and what I think should be in the game. And this is just my opinion on what I think should be in the game. So what I think should be on there, of course, the Different modes, I think you should have franchise, of course, play now, Diamond Dynasty, the inning program, the play now live playoff mode, as well as the home run derby mode. Of course, all the minor league teams on there, AA, AAA, and Major League. I think at some point, you gotta ask yourself, are they gonna put the single A teams on there? They should put the single A teams on there, at least high A. I know you have high A and low A ball and rookie ball and all that, but you should at least put the high A teams on there, and if you're not going to do that, at least put the minor league teams in there, so that you I know you can create teams and you can try to get as close as you can with the same creator, but it's not the same than actually having their actual stadium in the game. I think you need to have the AAA and AA stadiums in there instead of these generic minor league stadiums. I know it's a lot to ask, but it's possible. That's all I gotta say on that. That's the modes, I think. The modes and stuff that should be on there. You should be able to create your team in the franchise mode like you have, where you can create or edit your logos or whatever. Even if you have to do that from a website and import it, like you import it and put it up like you do in NBA 2K, where you go to the NBA2K.com, put your center court logo or your logo, a team logo on there, and it goes up to the community file, and you go from there. I don't care if you have a website like you do for NBA 2K for MLB The Show. That's fine. That's okay with me if you want to do it that way, or do the way you have been doing it. However you want to do where you can create the teams, sort of, in the show in franchise mode. I think they need it in Play Now as well, not just franchise, but in Play Now, where you can have your international teams, or you can have your college teams, or you can have your fantasy teams. Your teams that aren't minor league or major league or college or international, they're just a The Show fantasy team or a fantasy league, like you do in MLB 2K or NBA 2K. I like to see them put the creative statement in the PS4. I think they had the ability to do it. If you had it in an older system in MVP and say Baseball 06 on the original Xbox and the PS2, you certainly have the ability to put on in some way, shape, or form, even if you dilute and you put more features in the PS5 and the Xbox Series X version than you would on the Xbox One and PS4 version. You can have not as many features, but I'd like to see it be put into MLB The Show, whether it's this year with this one or next year, because probably don't have that many more years where it's on the PS4, where it's just going to be on the PS5, and those people who still have the PS4 and aren't getting the PS5 just yet, but if they're waiting to see if something else comes along and they want to go to whatever, because right now the PS5 is the next gen console, but that may change in the next upcoming year or two or so, where you have PS6 or PS5 whatever. I think it's going to be called PlayStation 6. Would be probably the logical name for the next PlayStation system after the PS5. Because you would go PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and probably the next logical one would be 6. Or 5 plus, or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't, or whatever. It could be 5 plus or 6. But that, I think, would be just a logical name for I know we didn't even mention the next PlayStation after PS5, but whenever that time comes within the next 2 or 3 years or so, that's probably the logical choice of it. Why Xbox didn't go in that direction and went from Xbox to Xbox 360 to Xbox One to Xbox One Series X and S. Who knows why Microsoft did it that way, but Sony PlayStation hasn't done it that way. So I know this is just me going on about what I think systems should be called and what systems companies should be doing. That's not the point. This is just my opinion on everything I have said that is not a fact. The only facts that I have said in this is it will be released on April 5th, and Shohei Ohtani will be the cover player, and it'll release on the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and the Nintendo Switch. Those are true. That is true that it's going to release on those systems at that time, on that date, with that player on the cover. The only thing that's opinion is what I think the system people should do as far as what should go into the game and what they should call the systems. That's just my opinion on it. So the only facts in this live stream are, if you're just tuning in to my live stream, that the only facts and the only stuff that is confirmed with MLB The Show 22 is that it's going to release on April 5th with Shohei Ohtani as a cover player, and it will release on the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and the Nintendo Switch. So it'll be earlier in April than it was last year, so at least that's good. But again, preferably it's better that it releases in March, but if the season's delayed, then really doesn't really matter on the release date for the game, unless if the season is delayed till then, or not. So again, I will have more videos on this, upcoming, as far as modes, what I think should be on it. Like I said, if you're just tuning in, MLB Show cover player Shohei Ohtani is going to be on the cover. The game will be released on April 5th. On the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and the Nintendo Switch. Probably most likely it won't be on the PC, with the PC version. And no confirmation on modes and what's going to be in the game, except for course, the players and updated rosters are probably going to be in the game as well. They should have probably the same stuff as they did in the show 21. Maybe they'll have a few new stuff, but we just don't know what that stuff will, what those modes will be, what it will look like, what the graphics will look like, scoreboard, and all that goes into the game, from gameplay to graphics to modes. To rosters, to any of that. That has not been announced yet. I will tell you once I know more on it. All I can say at this point is what I think should be in the game, in my opinion on what should be in the game, and what I think should happen. And of course, my opinion on what this and again, like I said, I don't know why they call these systems the way they do, especially for the 360, Microsoft Xbox system. That's just my opinion. I don't know why they're doing it that way, and that's just my opinion. Everybody has their own opinion on what the system should be called and all that. That's not really all that important. I said, looking forward to MLB The Show 22 releasing, looking forward to the game coming out and playing the game and playing it on my channel, having live streams, having the MLB Game of the Week on my channel return for not just Major League, but for AAA and AA Game of the Week, as well as the Home Run Derby and possibly the Field of Dreams returning, Field of Dreams game returning, and all that as well on my channel. So there's a lot of stuff that's returning and then a lot of stuff that's new to the channel for that type of content, from MLB The Show content. But the day of the release, April 5th, we will have a live stream for that on April 5th. It's going to be exciting to see my content on this channel for MLB The Show. Again, my first MLB The Show I played was MLB The Show 19. That's because I didn't start playing PlayStation until then. So that was my first MLB The Show I played. So I've only played 3 MLB The Shows. This is my 4th MLB The Show I have played. Well, again, I'm not new to MLB video games or baseball video games. I've played other stuff that was on the Xbox system with MVP and say Baseball 6 and the Bigs and the Bigs 2 and 2K when MLB 2K was out, as well as I know the Bigs and Bigs 2 was 2K, and the MVP baseball series as well. And so none of that, I don't think, was recorded. All that has not been recorded. I was all playing that off recording. So yeah, that's enough said on that. Well, like I said, again, I will say it. This is the last time I'll say it. The show releases on April 5th, and then PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. And Shohei Ohtani is the cover player that those things we do know, modes and what's going to be in the game, is not been confirmed just quite at the moment. We will get that information once we get it to you. That will do it for me. Until next time, Keep on eating, everybody, and we'll see you next time.